Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Real Life Process podcast. My name is Teresa McCloy, and I am thrilled to be with you. This episode that we're recording is actually coming out just a few days before the Christmas season that we're celebrating, the wonderful reason of Christmas. And so, Merry Christmas, everyone. And we are so glad that maybe over your Christmas holiday and break, you're taking some time to listen to this episode. And I hope it encourages you. I hope it gives you something that you can actually take action on in the next couple of weeks. And no matter when you're listening, I hope it gives you some application into how you can live your best real life. Before we dive into the content that we want to do about choosing a word for the year and what benefit that might be and all of that, I want to tell you about some things that we have going on right now in real time. So if you're listening to this episode on your favorite podcast app or here on our YouTube channel, or you've found us and it's not current time, I apologize, but these are some things that I want you to know about that are happening right now. And one is, because this is right here towards the end of December, we want to tell you about some things that we have going on at the Real Life Process. So there's 3 things I want to share with you real quickly before we dive into the content. One is our full needs and values assessment. When we came out with the book, Do What Matters, Live From Rest, Not Rush, on November 1st, when I launched that book, we knew that we had a full needs and values assessment that we wanted to bring to you. And that's now available out on the website. So you can go to thereallifeprocess.com. We spell real life with 1 L. So head on out there and just scroll down just a little bit and you'll see a place to take the full needs and values assessment and actually walk through that with one of our coaches. We just recorded that episode with our coach, Erica Vinson, who just specializes greatly in those needs and values assessments. And we just recorded that this past episode. So go back and take a listen to that, hear about the needs and values. We have a short version of that inside the book that you can do, and it's part of some of our free resources. But now we have the full assessment available to you. That's also used by all of our certified facilitators. So you can find those out on the website as well. And maybe you can connect with one of those certified facilitators that has the ability to give you that full needs and values assessment. So that's one thing I wanted to mention. The second thing is right now, currently here in December of 2022, we have some great things going on with our certification program. So if you've picked up a copy of the book or you've been listening to the podcast for a while and you're like, wow, I want to know more about how to be certified in 2023, then make sure you click on that link on the website as well and just jump on a conversation with me and let's talk about how you might use the content, the tools, the guidebook, the book in the work that you're doing. And so it can come alongside, not only be a great tool that you can use, but it is a great business growth opportunity for you. So check that out as well. And then the third thing that I have is right now here in December through the end of January, I'm running some discounts on my coaching. So I guess I shouldn't say discounts, but I'm running some specials on my coaching. So if you'd love to work with me one-on-one and you'd love to get 2023 off to a great start, just go again to thereallifeprocess.com and click down on Coach with Me or Work with Me, and you'll see ways that you can take advantage of some of those discounts. We'll actually put the direct links to those in the show notes for this episode. So check those all out. I'd love to work with you in 2023. I have just a few spots open for whether you want to do some business coaching around the growth of your business, adding to your team. Love to do that. or whether you want to walk through the process and you would like to do it with me personally, then check those out and you'll be able to see how you can do all of those things and what the discounts are right now on those packages. Only available through the end of this month. So check those all out. So that kind of kicks us off, lets you know what we have going on in 2023. My team and I have been together and we have planned out some things, and we are very excited. Now that the book, Do What Matters, has been launched out into the world, it's been released, we have some exciting things in 2023. But as those exciting things are coming, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. So we want to take this episode, and I just want to talk to you about this idea of having a word of the year or a word for this year. Now, this is something that I have done for several years. I was looking back on a document that I keep, just kind of some ways that I keep some personal things. And on this particular document, I have been doing this exercise since 2016. So in 2016 was the first time that I had chosen kind of a guiding word for the year. And I love that idea of it being a guiding word. Now, you know, at the process that we really believe in living from the rest, not rush. So living from rest for us means down in the being of who you are at your core. And as we grow and as we develop personally, things shift and change in us. And sometimes having one word that for the next 12 months really resonates with me and guides me really is helpful. And I think a lot of people that use this exercise as a word for the year find it extremely helpful. And I want to share with you how I walk people through this, how you can walk yourself through this. And then over in our Real Life Process community, we'll begin some discussion around your guiding word for the year. We have some live Facebooks that we do over there on Wednesday morning with Lindsay Sturkey. So hop on over there and listen on Wednesday mornings as we come on live and just talk about this process for ourselves. But what is that guiding word that you would choose? Last year, my guiding word personally was the word one another. So it was kind of a phrase. But I really looked at how that word guided me in some different areas. I knew, of course, last year that we would be launching the book. And so that guiding word became important to me in 3 different areas. It became important to me in my family. How was I going to be kind to one another? So as, you know, my husband and I develop and work on our relationships, as, you know, the relationships with my extended family, how do I want to show up and be kind to them? And then with my friends, it was around belonging to one another and being, really belonging and living into each other. And how does that look? And then with my community, it was around encouraging one another or encouragement to one another. So I kind of took that guiding word and broke it out to 3 different areas of my life. Now, I'm not going to tell you yet what my guiding word is for 2023 because I'm still really sitting with it and discerning with it. So that is part of the process. So let me walk you through 5 or 6 steps around the guiding word. And then we also have a free download for you. We'll put it here in our show notes. We'll post it out on our community. If you're not a part of our Facebook community, hop on out to the community if you've just found the podcast and join us there at the Real Life Process community on Facebook, and you can get the free download from there as well. But here's the first step. So we have this list of words, and it's looking at this list. You can use it as a jumping off point if you've never done this exercise before, and really start to look at 3 to 5 words from the list or come up with your own words. Now, because I've been doing this for a while, I really began kind of right after Thanksgiving, just listening for words that resonate with me. Go, wow, that word just really spoke to me. I pray about it, I discern around it, and there are different words that will just kind of come up, and I'm hearing them often, and I'm thinking about them. I'm like, wow, I've heard that word 2 or 3 times. What is that speaking to me? So I actually heard a word just in the last couple of days that is resonating with me. But you might use this list from our free download to just kind of come around some words. Then what I love to do with that word is I love to research it. And I look for synonyms, similar words. I go look up the definition of that word. For me as a believer, it's really important for me to see what scripture, what the Bible says about that word. How does it resonate with me spiritually, emotionally? Just how does this word grab me? And am I still thinking about it over the next few days? So this is a process that you might take over 2 to 3 weeks. And really listen to what your heart is telling you about how this word would guide you in the next year. So that's kind of the third part. So look at the list, do some research around the word, and just really discern, how would this word guide you? Where would it apply into this upcoming year? Then the fourth thing is, does it resonate in all areas of your life? Is it a word that resonates for you professionally and also personally and spiritually? So how does this word really resonate across your whole self, from your being to your doing, as we say here at The Process? And then maybe the fifth step is, maybe you want to share it out with a coach or a mentor or a really good friend. And just as you say it out loud, there is something about saying a word out loud or saying something to someone else. You go, didn't resonate with me quite as much as I thought it would when I actually started talking about it and saying it. And then write your word in several places and see if it weaves in. So maybe as you begin to set up your projects for the next 90 days, we have a practice here in our process where we're looking out for 90 days at a time. And if you're in this last season, the last few weeks of December, you may be doing some of that work as you're setting up your new year for 2023. And see if the word fits in. See if you can use it in different places, if it really resonates across all of those things as you're doing. Maybe that first component that we use is what we call the real life being, creating kind of your map that you're going to be using, and then breaking it down into your projects. Can you fit the word? Does it work into all of those things? Or does it really just resonate with one part? Once you've kind of gone through those 6 steps, let me review those once again. Choose 3 to 4 to 5 words, or from this list that we have, or that guide you to come up with some other words. Then research your word by looking it up. What's the definition? Listen to what your heart is saying. What's your emotional response? Does the word draw you in all areas of your life, professionally, personally, and spiritually? And share your word with someone, and then start to write the word and weave it in to different things. If it kind of passes through all of those 6 steps, you probably have your guiding word. And that is so exciting to think that you have the word that could be the guide for you in the future. I told you what my word was for last year, which was the phrase one another. But here has been some of my words that I have used since 2016. Be bold. I remember that year just really living into being bold in 2017. 2016 was just be. So let me back up just a bit. 2017 was be bold. And that was the year that we lost our son, Eric, to addiction. And that was a year that I really had to lean into courage and being bold. I had no idea that would be my guiding word when I picked it in January and we lost Eric in August. 2018 was about plan. That was the word. That was the year that I really began to think about the book and, what was the plan for building my business and leaning into the work that I was called to do. I was also starting to formulate the real life process and the components of the process. 2019 was abundance. That was a growth year for me, both personally and professionally, as I leaned into that year. 2020 was congruent. That was an interesting year because that became COVID year, and that became the year that the world kind of shut down. And I actually started the certification process and actually really started to feel congruent about the voice and what I was to do and what God was calling me to in my life. 2021, the word was prune. It was really letting go of a lot of other things that I was doing, a lot of other places that I was living in, and really coming down to the things that were my work to do and my voice to have out into the world, and just became clearer and clearer what that was. And then 2022 was one another, and just coming in community in so many different ways. One of the biggest events we did last year was our book release party, where we brought together, we called it Circle of Friends, and I brought together all kinds of people from different circles in my life. And, it was about them. It was about one another, leaning into each other, sharpening each other, and leaning in that way in so many different things. And it was just such a beautiful event that I'm still savoring, because relationships and community are of such a value to me. And then I have a word that I'm playing with for 2023, and I'll be excited to share that with you after the first of the year. So keep leaning into the podcast, keep listening as we're continuing to build community around a different way of doing life, together, and really focusing on doing what matters. And I continue, as a very forward-moving energy type, I continue to need to lean into words, guiding words for me that actually slow me down. I can have so many ideas. Maybe you're like that too. And I sometimes need a guiding word to be that stake in the ground that says, here, build your life this year around this. So we are excited to hear more about your guiding word. This is always a fun time of year. And if you need help processing through that, maybe you'll want to look at working with me one-on-one, and go check out those great benefits that we have, some discounts on coaching with me in the beginning of the year. They'll be good through the end of January, but go check those out. Maybe you want to walk through that with myself. Maybe you want to lean into the needs and values that we talked about. Find one of our certified facilitators. But we would love to help guide you in this word of the year exercise. So we'll also be over in our Facebook community. We'd love to hang out with you there. And let's just see what God opens up, what becomes the word that might guide you for the year. I can't wait to share that together with you in community and hear all about your word. Many times these words become revealed to me in moments, like they just become open up, and I find them in the moments. And I just want to encourage you in that, even as we come into the Christmas season, the new year, all that there is to celebrate at this time of year, being with those that we care about, that have deep meaning, and just leaning into that. So remember that every ordinary day, every single one of them, has an extraordinary moment. You just have to look for them. So Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a wonderful beginning to the new year and celebrating this season. See you next week here on the Real Life Process Podcast.